So it's exercise time. You're going to create one simple-ish mathematical equation in Scheme. Now, I got to preface this with it must use power or square root, or I'm trying to give you an example of the Pythagorean theorem here. Now, the interesting part is that, it's going to require some outside functions that you didn't create. Now, that depends on your flavor of what version of Scheme that you have. So you need to go back to the manual. I bet you $100 is going to have square root, and I'm sure it's going to have some of it. But it might. I've seen some other solutions to this that use some different functions that it depended on the flavor. So this could be a little bit more interesting than you're expecting here. So use the example below to help out here. Notice that when the displays are happening, the display is not in the function function at all. I'll spit it out here. It's when you're calling the function, you've gotten a value, and then the outer part asks you to display it. Comment your code, test your code. You'll be asked to submit something very similar to this in one of your labs. So this definitely is not a waste. Let's put it that way. You also need to see what math functions does your version or flavor, and this I talked about already, support. So I have a Gambit Scheme manual here if you want to do that. Dr. Racket, I'm sure you've given you a link for that. You really need to have you and your team take a look at that, especially, really before the labs and really as you're doing this. So just a heads up on this exercise. And again, I wish I could give you a solution on this, but send me something and make sure you tell me what version of Scheme. And if it runs, then you're good to go. Keep in mind, again, I'm going to be using something like that in your lab here shortly.